So it looks like Emile Smith Rowe could be leaving or will be leaving Arsenal soon, and it looks like Fulham are the club that he will go to. But nothing's concrete, nothing's signed, sealed, nothing's even agreed between clubs yet. But I just get this feeling it's getting a lot closer. I always say, oh, I've just heard myself on YouTube. Wow, there we go. That's annoying for the stream. I had the tab open, so I just heard myself back. Apologies. Anyway, welcome back everyone to the stream. What a weird start to it. Nothing's signed or sealed. Nothing is definitely happening yet. Palace and Fulham are in for the player, and I think I just keep saying when I do these videos, when I do these streams, that covering transfers for a long, long time and Arsenal news, you just get a sense for when something feels like it's starting to happen, and this one feels like it's starting to happen. So I'm going to give you all the news. I'm going to give you everything that's been said over the last few days, over the weekend and across Monday, and of course Tuesday as well today. And we'll cover other things from Eddie and Ketty. I want to talk about this Mikel Merino stuff as well, because I haven't really talked about Merino properly on this channel. So I do want to go into that a little bit. And of course, any questions, any thoughts, we'll read them out. We'll have a discussion for the next 30 minutes or so. Damn, I was on such a roll and I completely ruined that intro by having the stream open. I was planning on watching myself apparently as I go live. So there we go. Welcome all. Sadiq, good to see you. Sharing, I hope I pronounced that correctly, saying first episode after the name change. Best wishes. Thank you. And of course, yeah, I actually forgot. You're no longer on the James B channel anymore. I still own it. But it's the Goonerverse now. I did a channel update video yesterday to tell you all about it. We just wanted to, I don't know, I wanted a name that, embodied Arsenal and Arsenal news and, people we're speaking to in the world of Arsenal more than just my name, really. So, yeah, I hope you like it. Big thanks to Elle, who says the rebrand looks great, mate. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And good to see you all as well. After making a complete mess of the intro, let's not waste much more time and go into the discussion around the news. And here we are with my bookmark tweets. So I'll make sure I don't miss any of them. First things first, there they are, all back. Erdegaard, Tomiyasu, Timber arriving for pre-season. As you'll all know, pre-season started officially, yesterday, Monday the 15th. The players came back, but they were having some time in Spain. Arteta did an interview from out there. They were having some time just to get together, get up to date with their fitness. We talked about this on the podcast. Some of you might be wondering. We've only been doing it for a few weeks. I'm not sure it's become a staple content for you weekly yet, but some of you might be wondering where the Goonerverse podcast is. Normally out on a Tuesday. It is actually going to be out tomorrow. And we've got really, really special guest. Lee Judges is joining us, as well as Elliot from Arsenal Vision, which I'm super excited about. We recorded that last night. That is going to be out tomorrow. And one of the things we discussed was fitness levels, the expectation from preseason, and how how players will be looking after themselves, and actually why we could see Saka, Rice, players like that back a little bit sooner than perhaps we expect. So that's all coming out on the podcast tomorrow. We had a really good debate about Mikel Merino as well, which really took up most of the podcast. That will be, like I said, huge chunk of tomorrow's show coming. But yeah, we're going to talk about Merino as well, because some really good sort of discussion points came out from that discussion that I will mention in this today while we're talking about Merino. But yeah, sort of a lot of you coming in saying, first live with the rebrand. Welcome everyone. Multiverse with James. There we go. Somewhere in the multiverse there's a Goonerverse, and this one's it. Hit the like, people, if you're enjoying the stream. If you enjoy these streams, you enjoy these updates, let me know. And any thoughts, feedback, let me know in the comments as well. Always genuinely open to know what kind of things you want to see on this channel. But anyway, back to the news. So the players are back from their holidays. Like I said, some have been working with Mikel Arteta and some are a little bit ahead. I mean, preseason officially started yesterday, but they're getting ready to go. Now, what we want to have a little look at is some of the news. Every stream, this bloody thumbs up comes up, and it's nothing to do with me. Anyway, so Sam Dean covers Arsenal news brilliantly, saying that Arsenal have rejected a bid from Fulham for Emile Smith Rowe. The size of the offer is currently unclear, and it remains to be seen whether Fulham try again. Palace are also interested in news of bid, first reported by Dharmesh Sheth. He's actually spot on. It was Sky Sports that came in with that first. Obviously, the Telegraph coming with some news on that as well. The Mail Sport came in saying that Fulham have suggested they could offer as much as 40 million for Smith Rowe, while Palace are unlikely to go that high. It is understood that neither club has yet formally made an offer. Important to know that both of them have had two major sales go through. Palace had Elise go to Bayern Munich, and there is a chance that Eze could be on his way with that £60 million release clause. Fulham have just had Palhinha go for around 40 to 50 million as well, I think. So both of them with the PSR concerns behind everyone. Of course, we know that at the end of June, I wouldn't say the PSR concerns are behind everyone, but the deadline for those under real pressure was the end of June, and Palace and Fulham weren't two clubs in a problem position as far as I'm aware. Both of them having made big sales, I think could look at a player like Smith Rowe for around 40 million, which is great. Emile Smith Rowe is keen to leave ahead of the 24-25 season, wants regular football. We'll talk about the Nketiah stuff soon because Marseille do want him. Mill Sports said that Arsenal rejected a bid of around 30 million plus bonuses from Fulham. Emile Smith Rowe, after seeing their first offer knocked back by the Gunners, Fulham are now considering making an improved proposal. Crystal Palace are also keen on the England international, although he's one of a number of midfield options being looked at by the Selhurst Park club. Okay, let's break that all down. Let me say that while I was here on a live being quite critical about the Lokonga stuff, what did we agree? A loan with an option of 12 million euros. I didn't really love that deal. Fine with the Tavares one. I think we're in a really good position when it comes to this Smith Rowe exit and the potential funds that we might be getting from this sale. I think with Smith Rowe, we could talk about Smith Rowe, the player. I feel like I've done it a lot. Let me know in the chat. I think I have. I think I've discussed, whether it be on this channel, whether it be on AFTV, that he's really a 10 that plays behind a striker. You want two players behind him as one of a midfield three. The press is awkward because Ødegaard presses, so he'll have to drop in central midfield alongside Rice. It doesn't feel like a natural fit. He can't play on the left because he's not a touchline winger at all. He was at his best when he was on the left, tucking inside with Tierney overlapping. We've covered all those kind of tactical elements about why Smith Rowe doesn't fit. But also when we have seen him, I think he looked good against Luton. We haven't seen him at his very best. So I don't think anyone who's buying Smith Rowe is buying him because of the incredible form he's shown recently. I think they're buying him because of the potential of the last few years, hoping his injuries are behind him and realizing that there's a really exciting talent that has, got England caps, that played for an Arsenal team that were, challenging for European spots and got some minutes in title challenging sides, has worked with a great manager, Mikel Arteta, and is probably just a really, really great investment. He's also homegrown and, he's Premier League proven. He can play across 2-3 positions. So I can absolutely see why the demand is there. But I think we're operating at a really good figure here. 30 to 40 million is great. I wanted around 40 million with a view to 30 to 35 being okay. I'm not angry about that. I think anything less than 30 would be really disappointing. But it looks like Fulham are coming into this not wanting to mess about, saying, look, let's hash out a deal. We both want to do a deal. Let's not mess around. It dawned on me in a very recent live I did that we are 2 months into the summer, which makes me sad for other reasons, but it was May 19th, 18th that we played Everton. Let's find out for sure. Arsenal 2-1 Everton. It was 19th of May. 19th of May. So 16th of July now. So almost 2 months on from the last time we kicked a ball at the Emirates on the day that we hoped to win the title and we didn't. 2 months on, very little's been done in the transfer window from a lot of clubs. And I know it might feel because the Euros has just ended that it's early and things are going to pick up. Well, the players probably fly in 5-6 days to the US. Fulham don't want Smith Rowe going all the way to the US. They need to hash a deal out and he flies back 2 days later. I just don't think Smith Rowe goes on the tour, but that's just my opinion. I might be completely wrong. I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I also get the feeling that Fulham, if they're coming in with a bid of around 30 million now, plus bonus which has been rejected, then they're keen to do this deal properly and soon. And I think that this plus the Calafiori deal should get done quite soon. Going on tour is not the end of the world, right? It's not like they can't join up a little bit later. It's not Arsenal aren't going to spend money that they don't want to spend or do a deal they don't want to do for either Smith or Calafiori just because they're flying to America soon. But we know that there's always been a desire to get players through the door so they can get that proper training camps, they can be settled with the team and take these 5 really pretty big games of pre-season seriously. And I just don't think that these Smith Rowe and Calafiori deals will drag on too long. Dare I say, if they do, if it gets to the weekend and we haven't had any sort of significant update on either player, and they are, not looking like, say Calafiori isn't looking like being on the tour and Smith Rowe isn't, he's looking like going on tour and doesn't look close to Fulham, then I go as far as to say that we're probably then weeks away from these deals being done. Like almost, don't expect it to be done anytime soon. It could sort of drag on into August. I hope not. I don't think that's how it will happen. But it's just my opinion. Let's see. Let's get your comments and your thoughts. What do you all make of this deal we're potentially doing with Smith Rowe? I think 30 to 40 million is about right for a player that doesn't fit naturally into what we're trying to do tactically anymore, unless Arteta reinvents it again. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. What have we got? I like this from Akshat. He says, "We will win the league in March this season." Wouldn't that be great? Do it the way Liverpool did. Feels like the only way to beat City is to just batter them. Just be 10, 15 points ahead by Christmas. But what are the chances we can do that? Olmo reminds me of Trossard, says Joel, after originally saying we need to compete for Olmo. I like Olmo a lot, but I just unfortunately don't think we're going for him. I haven't seen anything that links us to him, but yeah, I like him a lot. What else have we got? Shemariah says, I'm hoping that as soon as Calafiori is done with his holiday, which is the 19th of July, we see a here we go from Fabrizio. Yeah, let's touch on the Calafiori thing quickly. I don't know if his holiday officially ends 19th of July, but I think he probably is on holiday. And I actually think that might be a part of why the deal's taking its time, because there's just no rush for either party to get it done massively at the moment. But I feel in these coming days, it will become slightly more pressing. Do I think the holiday? I think with Calafiori, it really is just finer details on the deal that Arsenal and Bologna are just taking their time with, because I think Bologna are at the same time negotiating what other centre back. Mats Hummels is being talked about. They'll be talking to Basel apparently about that percentage fee that goes to them, and maybe negotiating it down. And some of you might go, how can you negotiate it down if they've agreed 40%? And then Basel will get 40%. But I think it was Rory Talks Football made a great point, which is, I think clubs have done this before. Forgive me if I'm misquoting him, but I think he was saying this has happened before. I think Max Kilman, Wolves did that with the club they signed him for before he went to West Ham. And they were saying that essentially the idea is, well, Basel can either get 40 or a lower percentage of a big transfer fee, or they can get 0% of nothing if Calafiori stays, because at the moment Juventus doesn't look on. So would a Liverpool, someone else come in for him? I'm not sure. You'd think if they were going to, that they'd have done it before Arsenal got so ahead of the deal. So I just think that there's just so many other moving parts in this, and that there's good relations between Arsenal and Bologna. They'll just be taking their time, and it will probably get done this week. It's my opinion. I'm no ITK people. It's just my opinion. I think this picks up in the coming days. But if by Friday we haven't had any significant speed up, then I'm thinking, oh no, this could really take a while. But who knows? Again, like I said, maybe we agree a fee this week and then he flies out to join them in the States a few days later. That's totally possible. So maybe I'm talking complete nonsense. Let me know. 35 plus bonuses, lean to 40 would be great. I think that'd be a great deal. Forder on Football, hit the likes. Everyone go subscribe to Forder, Alex Forder. He was on the channel last week on the Goonerverse podcast. It was great to hear his thoughts. He's just done a great interview with Lead Judges. Lead Judges everywhere. I'll be with him on Forever Arsenal tomorrow. He's been on Forder's podcast. He's coming on mine tomorrow as well. So there you go. Lots going on. Big up Lead Judges. Well, this is an interesting one from Praveen. Says, the Smith Rowe deal should include a sell-on / buyback clause. Fulham are being quite, from what I'm seeing and the little I know, Fulham are being quite upfront about, they're coming with serious money, right? There's no joke bidding. They ain't coming with 15, 20 million. They've come in with 30 plus bonuses according to Mail Sport. I think they are keen to do a deal quickly, and they're willing to pay what Arsenal probably think he's worth. But in return, they won't want Arsenal to take by saying, okay, cool, but we also want a 30% sell-on clause, and we also want a, a buyback at 35 and whatever, that just won't. I don't know if that will happen. I know we would probably want it because if Smith Rowe does really well, we want to be able to bring him back to North London, to Arsenal. But I just don't see that happening. I don't think Fulham will agree to it. Look at the problem I've just mentioned. It's caused Calafiori and Bologna, because there's this other club you're constantly thinking about, and then you're not going to get. So let's say they agree to a 33%. Why do I make it so complicated for myself? Call it 25%. Let's say it's a 25% sell on, and they sell him for 60 million in a few years to Chelsea. 15 million of that's going to come to us, and all they've done is made back what they spent on him in the first place, having raised his profile and his value. So I just don't think Fulham will agree to it. Charlie says academy goalkeeper Setford announced tomorrow. Apparently, where's the first team signings? Yeah, well, let's go into the Setford stuff. We'll chat about Merino as well. By the way, wait, I need to share this comment. He is an icon, mate. Absolute legend. Lots of love for lead judges, and rightly so. Let's share this again. This on Tommy Setford 2 hours ago. So, dream transfer of Ajax goalkeeper talent Tommy Setford at 18. The goalkeeper signs with Arsenal until summer 2028. Amsterdammers get a few extra tons out of it. I don't quite exactly know what that means, but Mike Verwage, hope I pronounce that right, is like tier 1 when it comes to anything Ajax. And he's saying that the deal's done. Now, if you're all asking me what I know about Tommy Setford, it's not a lot. It's that he's a talented young goalkeeper. Growing up in the Ajax academy is, it's going to be good for his footballing education. He'll have learned how to play football out the back, how to play football bravely. And at 18, goalkeepers peak at 25, 26. I think it will be a long time before we're seeing him play some crucial part at Arsenal. But I do think he'll probably be on the tour. I think he'll go to the USA because why not? I mean, we don't have Ryan Ramsdale for about 3 weeks. So probably the 5th of August is when we get them back. And then Carl Hein, you got the loan. You got the loan situation that we feel is coming for him, but when? Then you got Dan Bentley coming from Wolves at some point. Well, I say that like it's definitely going to happen. I just feel like that will just get agreed. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that, David Ornstein caught hold of the news. We sort of made a bit early. I think they'll figure something out. And Arsenal have no goalkeepers right now. So I think there's a chance that Bentley is like the number 1 on tour, and that Setford and Carl Hein will be there too. So let's see what happens. I know we kind of see it as just 3 goalkeepers, just chuck anyone in goals any pre-season. But I still want to get everyone used to playing with a goalkeeper that is able to do what the Arsenal number 1 is meant to be able to do throughout most of the season. So I think we could have Setford and Bentley in by the end of the week. I'm sort of seeing Setford, Bentley, and Calafiori all going on the tour. That seems crazy because it's the evening of Tuesday 16 and we haven't announced a single signing. So that's quite bold of me to say, and please don't get upset with me, people, if at the end of the week Calafiori's not done and he's not on the tour yet and whatever. But I just feel like if it's going to get done, that's the time. And I feel like we could have 2 or at least 3 of those players on the plane for the trip to LA, and then they go to Philadelphia. So yeah. But yeah, Tommy Setford's coming in, and I think this is one to be vaguely excited about. It might be a long time before we see him playing. And certainly a while before we see him fulfilling his potential, but I think it's a really shrewd bit of business and a really good signing. What have we got? Nazir. I know. Had to move on from James B. I think James B as a channel will return in some capacity one day. Probably make it a bit more personal, more about me and whatever I'm up to in life, which probably no one will care about. But yeah, I might just do it as a hobby if anyone is interested. But yeah, this is obviously about sort of my Arsenal content here. So yeah, hope you all like the rebrand. I hope you're all enjoying it, and thank you so much. 470 of you here watching live. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for all tuning in. I was sort of slightly worried that with the rebrand, people would be like, what is this channel? No, thanks. But no, thank you all for supporting. I really appreciate it. Right, let's go into the other. You know what? We're entering the last 10 minutes. Let's talk about Emile Merino, the latest of all that, because I've put him in the title, so I should talk about him. Here's the latest. Doc telling us that Charles Watts said sources in Spain tell me that Sociedad are aware of Arsenal's interest, but that there is also other clubs in the mix for Merino, given he is set to be available at quite a nice price, given he only has 1 year left on his contract. So, what do we know of Merino? What do we expect to happen? Is this a player who suits Arsenal? I'll give you all my thoughts now. As I mentioned, for anyone who's missed, no, yeah, right. So for anyone who's missed what I was saying about 5-10 minutes ago on the channel, tomorrow coming out is the Goonerverse podcast, episode 4, with Lee Judges and Elliot from Arsenal Vision as well. So excited about that panel. Everyone's been brilliant, may I say, and I'm super grateful they've all joined in and made the podcast what they are. But we had a really good debate, actually, probably the first time in any of the podcasts that there's been kind of not an argument, but like actual sort of disagreement on where people see Merino and his fit in the team, which was really interesting because some really great data was brought, some really good stats that we sort of are going to highlight in the podcast as well. To get an understanding of what Merino is in this team. And in short, without sort of spoiling the contents of the podcast tomorrow, the debate is he a deep lying playmaker that can facilitate build up next to Rice and do what Granit Xhaka was doing, or is he another dual winner? And is he someone that you need a Zinchenko in there, you need a Jorginho in there, you need a Partey in there in order to maximize what Merino does best? And if he is that, then is he actually the right fit for Arsenal? So I really urge you all to go watch that tomorrow when it comes out. I think Merino is a really smart bit of business because, as Charles has mentioned there, he's got a year left on his contract. I think there is a release clause of like 40-50 million or something, but we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that. There's a year left on his deal, and there's a lot of clubs in for him, from Atletico Madrid to Barcelona to Arsenal. So they won't struggle to get a decent fee for Merino because the demand is there, and when there's demand, it pushes that price up. Now, I think he's gettable for 25 to 35 million. I don't think it'll be much more than 35. I think any less than 25 will be a real bargain for a player who's just been playing an important squad role for Spain, and is rated very highly. Has got Champions League experience, international experience, has played in the Premier League, and is wanted by 3 big clubs. So I don't think he's going for any less than 25 million. Now, I've been wrestling in my mind all summer with what I think Arsenal need to do in midfield. I mean, at the start of the window, go back 2 months ago, as the season just ended, or just under 2 months ago, I was saying De Jong, Ødegaard, Rice, De Jong, wouldn't it be amazing? And then, as I look at the profiles we have in the squad, I start thinking, well, Partey looked physically off it compared to Partey at his best last season. Now, maybe he'll get back up to speed, but I didn't feel that he had that confidence to, cover ground the way he used to. And I'm sort of thinking, well, in Partey and Jorginho, you've got your 2 deep line playmakers. So actually, maybe with having a Declan Rice, you need more of a Merino, who's a 6'2", really good dual winner as well there to give you some physicality, some energy to that midfield, like Rice brings. And then you've basically got Merino, Rice, Partey, Jorginho. You could do a few different combinations with Ødegaard and Vieira as your 2 10s. I don't, well, they're not 10s, but your creators, you get what I'm saying. I like the sound of that. It feels balanced. It feels pretty complete. But why do I just get this feeling that Arteta still wants someone who does well in the pockets, like an Eze? And why do I just get this feeling that, Rice is going to play a lot of football next season? So are we signing a Merino just to be a squad player? I don't know. I think if we're signing him, it's to be like an out-and-out starter. So maybe he could complement Rice really well. I know he's watched him loads. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think Merino could complement a Rice, or do you think that's too much on the physicality side of things and not enough on the tempo dictating, controlling game side of things? I don't know. These are 2 really talented players, especially Declan Rice spent £100 million for. These players can control games. I'm just talking at the very, very highest level. So when it comes to Merino, I sort of think I want the deal done just because he's a number 8, just because he's someone that is a natural central midfielder who can contribute to the attacking third, who can box crash, who can contribute to the defensive third, can be really good in the air, adds a lot of different elements to the midfield, and just adds balance more than anything. But does he actually elevate us? Does he lift us? Is Ødegaard, Rice, Merino better than Ødegaard, Jorginho, Rice, or Ødegaard, Partey, Rice? I don't know. I can't say for sure that I think it is. So while I would happily do the deal, a lot of what I'm saying now is based off some really good stuff that Elliot was saying in the podcast coming tomorrow. So go and all watch that because he gives a really good different perspective on Merino that is making me think, yeah, there's like he seems like a really good fit and a really good balance, but is that actually the priority midfield we should be getting? And should we be looking at spending more on someone that we know is actually going to level us up, like Bruno Guimaraes? So, yeah, I'd love to know all your thoughts. Thank you for the super chat, OM. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate you supporting the channel. Forder saying, don't know if you've mentioned it, James, but is Marino's pass completion percentage a cause for concern? Ranks 18th percentile. Yeah, it is. And I don't want to say too much because, again, it's on the podcast tomorrow. But Elliot makes some really good points around this. So, yeah, worth seeing in the debate we have tomorrow. The Gooner Factory says, I like Marino and as an 8. Why can't I read? I like Marino and an 8 as he's great. What? I think you'll say, sorry. I'm very tired. Long day. I like Marino as an 8. He's great at bringing the left wing into play, which could massively benefit Martinelli. I totally agree with this. I was watching comps. By the way, go subscribe to the Gooner Factory as well. So I was watching comps of Marino, and so often there'd be a touchline winger who, found Marino with that channel ball on the underlap. And I thought, this is very Granit Xhaka. Xhaka did this in the 22-23 season. I'd love to see more of that. Put Nwaneri in. I think Nwaneri is going to play a role in the front three. As depth there and play some more academy football. I don't know if he'll play in midfield, but he absolutely could do. Dave Jordan, it's been a long time. I hope you're well, my friend. Marino a bit underwhelming, but maybe keeping our powder dry for Neves later. João Neves, interesting. For a second, I thought former Wolves Neves, but João Neves maybe, yeah. Thank you again for your super chat. I really, really appreciate that. DJ064, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Thoughts on João Felix? Arteta saves players, doesn't he? But I just feel like we've seen enough, and I'm just not. I'd be underwhelmed with that. Of course, I'd have that hope that Arteta turns him into a world beater, but I just don't, unfortunately, see that happening. As in the signing happening. But if you got hold of him, I think we'd see a better version of Felix than we've seen for a few years. So let's see. Kalebo, if Arsenal was serious, we could have signed Fofana or Yusuf Fofana and Marino for less than 60 million. But Cabello, you say if Arsenal was serious, I promise you, if we make those two signings, there are some people going, you're challenging for the title and you think that's going to close the gap to City. Now, I'm not saying they're bad players, they're good players, but you're talking about 60 million going on quantity there. But what about quality? What if it's a case of you can get just a João Neves, a Bruno Guimaraes, a Frankie de Jong, I don't know who else is out there, for 70 million. And you get just that one player and it elevates your midfield massively. It raises your ceiling rather than just your floor. So, yeah, you could definitely, this is another one. Fabian Ruiz. What a brilliant tournament he just had. Perhaps we could go for him. Apparently PSG are looking to sell. I first saw him summer of 2019. I saw him at the under 21 Euro Championships playing for Spain against Italy. And he looked brilliant there as well. And I think he's grown into a really good player since then. What else we got? Pablo, I'll see you out there. Philadelphia. Be great to meet you, Pablo. Have you enjoyed the tennis recently as well? What a performance from Alcaraz. The Goonerverse is cool, James. Thanks for the videos. Not at all. Football Club, David. Thank you so much for your comment. James, thoughts on Southgate stepping down? I'll keep this super brief, everyone. I think you can give him so much praise for getting the country excited about England again, for getting England to two finals, a semi-final, a quarter-final. I actually thought that quarter-final defeat to France was the best they played in all the defeats they've had from those tournaments. And I think he's a really nice bloke who deserved his respect and carried himself with class. But I also always felt he lacked massively from a tactical perspective. I felt he always would go out with imbalanced 11s and I wouldn't know why. And he lacked a little bit of clarity and conviction in what he was trying to do, I think. The players clearly loved him, but it's just time for something else. And I'm glad he stepped down rather than him leaving or anything. Him being sacked is what I'm trying to say. So those are my thoughts on Southgate. Wish him all the best, but I honestly, I'm not just saying this. I felt in 2018, I decided then he wasn't the guy, but he did a lot of good since then. All right, everyone. Gonna round it off there. Big thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments and the super chats. I really, really appreciate it. To sum up, Emile Merino, Barcelona are in the hunt, and some reports are even saying that they're in the lead, but Arsenal are part of this and they want him, and that's important to know as well. Setford is signing, and Smith Rowe close to Fulham. Let's see what happens. I'll keep you updated with everything on the channel, and more to come tomorrow. See you in a bit.